My name is Tessa Rogers, and this is my Introduction to Action Research Week 1 for ACTE 699. First, some background about me. I teach third grade at LaSalle Academy in Shillington. It's my 9th year there and my 13th year teaching overall. So this year I am looking forward to teaching with a grade partner for the first time in a few years. Since we are a small school, usually what happens is there's one class per grade level. So this year I'm looking forward to having a co-collaborator. I'm also working on petitioning to become the STEM coordinator. It's not currently a position, but I am coaxing my principal into allowing me to do that. In the past, I've been our Middle States coordinator, which is an accreditation that we have to go through every 7 years since we're a private school in order to continue educating children. So that while reading over the course content really connected to what I did there. Family life, my husband Justin and I have been married for 8 years. We have 3 daughters, Tegan, Dylan, and Peyton. I am a plant enthusiast and a beach lover, which I recently found out was called a thalassophile. So fun fact. In my assessment, curriculum, and teaching program, I chose the concentration for STEM. This is actually my last class of the program, so I'll graduate in December. And overall, my goal is to develop a rigorous STEM curriculum for my diocese that teachers can facilitate confidently while fostering students' practice and application of 21st century skills. Overall goal. So the 4 stages of action research, according to Mills and Spencer, are identifying an area of focus or planning, as the video said, collecting the data, that's the action stage, and then analyzing and interpreting that data or analysis, and then inevitably developing an action plan for your conclusion. Overall, the problems that the difficulties that I kind of identified in looking over these was the actual problem in the very beginning in the planning stage. So identifying what specific area that you wanted to focus on, and sticking with that. And then on top of identifying the problem, then what would be the best ways or data methods to measure that problem. Do you do qualitative? Do you do quantitative? Do you do both? What kind of qualitative? What kind of quantitative methods? As for the data, I thought maybe the difficulty in measuring it accurately, since these are your students, sometimes you tend to want to help them in certain circumstances and give more guidance to struggling students. So maybe that might be something that's difficult. Also, analyzing the data objectively. So you want to look at the data with an open mind in order to see where there can be some progress made. Obstacles of action research as making it part of your daily teaching practices. I thought for sure time for planning. Even just now thinking about what I want to do for this research project, you go through a number of different things. And then actually gathering and analyzing data objectively could be an obstacle as well. The support from your principal and other teachers, maybe your principal wants you to focus on something else, but you're set on a particular problem. Maybe some of the other teachers want to be involved, but to a different extent. And both Mills and Ferentz discussed having teachers work with educational researchers. So maybe that might be a problem or obstacle if there isn't somebody willing or able to work with you on the process. And then implementing an action plan. So once you've gotten everything together, actually turning the focus back on what it is you can change in your classroom and following through and doing it. So Ferenc talked about action research was how we can do things better and then how we can change our instruction to impact students, which is why I thought the story one resonated with me. The teacher collaborated with other educators in the planning. Even though they agreed on the problem, they had difficulty agreeing on the strategies that they would use. So they agreed that they would each use a different strategy, which is similar to how the teachers at my school work, because we're on different grade levels. Even though we might identify the same problem, there could be different strategies that we use to impact our students. The teacher in question sought feedback from the students and parents, so there was a lot of community involvement, which I am certainly looking for in my action research project. And then in their conclusion, the findings could be applied immediately. So their action plan was to start using some more of their language in the instruction, and that could be applied immediately for results. As for concerns in action research, first of all, having co-collaborators that want to work with you, or consultants that would be available. So during our Middle States accreditation process, we were able to consult with Middle States accreditation employees, whereas maybe with some of the action research you do in your classroom, there might not be that educational researcher that you can consult with. Also time, both class time and planning time. We're strapped for time as it is as teachers, and there are definitely certain things that we have to get in during class time. So maybe the action research project might dip into some of the other subject times, but also planning time. So I teach all the subject areas, and if I'm spending a lot of time focusing on one in particular, I don't want to necessarily neglect the others as part of that. In the data collection, the gathering enough data to analyze. So did I gather enough that I can really comb through and see where the progress needs to be made there? And then during the conclusion, developing a plan that is actually going to impact students. Okay, looking forward to your feedback.